October 23, 1944. The waters of the Philippine Sea lay deceptively calm under a hazy sunrise. Within hours, they would witness one of the most decisive naval battles in history, the Battle of Leyte Gulf. This wasn't just a clash between two fleets. It was a fight for control of the Pacific and the shape of the world to come. The Philippines were the key. Recapturing these islands meant severing Japanese supply lines and opening a pathway for the Allied forces to advance towards Japan itself. The stakes couldn't have been higher. For the Japanese Imperial Navy, this was do or die. For the Allies, it was the next step in breaking a stronghold. The battle would stretch across 4 days and 5 distinct engagements sprawling over hundreds of miles of ocean. It began with the Imperial Japanese Navy initiating their ambitious plan, a daring 3-pronged attack aimed at luring the American fleet into a trap and crushing it. The Japanese admirals knew their odds were slim. They were outnumbered, outgunned, and low on fuel. But their hope rested in surprise, and their resolve was unshakable. Admiral William Halsey aboard the USS New Jersey was leading the American Third Fleet. His forces, equipped with advanced technological firepower and bolstered by the morale of recent victories, seemed unstoppable. Yet even Halsey could not anticipate the complexity of Japan's gamble. It was Vice Admiral Takeo Kurita's center force that would deliver the heaviest blow, or at least that was the plan. On October 24th, his fleet moved through the treacherous waters of the Sibuyan Sea, but Kurita's forces would encounter the lethal combination of American carrier-based aircraft and surface fleets. It was here that the Japanese flagship Musashi, one of the largest battleships ever built, came under relentless air assault. Wave after wave of bombers ripped into the vessel, and by sunset she was gone, sinking beneath the waves. Yet, despite the devastation, Kurita pressed on. His battered fleet pushed through the San Bernardino Strait, straight into the path of a thin defensive force of Allied escort carriers and destroyers off the island of Samar. What followed stunned the world. The Allies faced Kurita with what reporters would later call courage beyond calculation. Outnumbered and outmatched, the smaller forces of Task Unit 77.3, a unit known as Taffy 3, fired everything they had. Destroyers and destroyer escorts charged headlong at Kurita's battleships and heavy cruisers. Aircraft from the lightly equipped carriers launched attack after desperate attack, even when they ran out of bombs and were forced to use near-suicidal tactics, such as dropping empty cannons or strafing the decks. Miraculously, the courage and sheer chaos were enough. Kurita, shaken by the ferocity of the resistance and under heavy losses, retreated, leaving the Allies with an unlikely victory. Meanwhile, in the far southern waters, Vice Admiral Shoji Nishimura's southern force met its own grim fate in the narrow Surigao Strait. There, waiting for them, was Rear Admiral Jesse Oldendorf and a perfectly executed Allied ambush. Under the cover of darkness, Oldendorf's fleet unleashed a deadly crossfire, employing crossing the T, an age-old naval tactic that allowed unfettered firing lines. By the end of it, the southern force had been annihilated. Yet even as Allied forces celebrated victories at Samar and Surigao, there was a looming shadow. Admiral Halsey, enticed by the chance to destroy the decoys of the Japanese northern force, had taken his Third Fleet northward, leaving the critical landing beaches on Leyte vulnerable. By the time he realized the trap, it was nearly too late. But thanks to the gallant efforts of the smaller units left behind, Leyte Gulf remained under Allied control. By October 26th, the waters were quiet once more, but they were stained with the cost of battle. More than 200,000 sailors and soldiers had participated. Over 30 ships had been sunk, and thousands of lives lost. The Battle of Leyte Gulf wasn't just the largest naval battle in history. It marked the beginning of the end for the Japanese Imperial Navy as a formidable force. Strategically, it cleared the way for the Allied liberation of the Philippines. Emotionally, it was a testament to the resilience of ordinary people thrust into extraordinary circumstances. And in the aftermath, as survivors regrouped on their battered ships, one thing became clear. The tides of war had turned, and they would never go back.